Welcome back to the Trading Desk. For one of our second to last segments today, we want to talk a little bit about some local issues, mainly, job issue. Real estate we're not going to go to. We've beaten that, down, and we don't really need to go there anymore. But talk a little bit about jobs. My concern is that a lot of the jobs, not only here locally, but nationwide, so heavily real estate dependent. Those jobs aren't coming back, and unfortunately, we don't have a lot of industry here in town. Cessna's under issues. You've got the hospital, St. Charles. Luckily, those are intact,
but even there, they laid off some people on the administrative end.
Sure,
recently,
I mean it's the economy is affecting everything right now. Yeah. I mean, tech jobs, tech companies are laying off, mass departments, and startups are laying people off, and it's virtually every section of the economy is getting affected right now. I think Oregon, I saw a statistic, had the 4th highest unemployment rate in the nation. Yeah. It's bad here, and California is worse, and so it's
and I think the issues are all of this, that where we are right now, I think was credit driven. It was a fake market. I mean, we would all agree that it was created by this credit that wasn't real.
Right.
Now that it's still in the process of unwinding, but unfortunately now we're going to get to this area now where we're going to have real effects of a real, now we're going to get into the recessionary times when the economy now is going to take it down a little bit further. It really wasn't economy driven until, I would say, in the last 6 months. So it's now just getting into now everybody's pulling back, they're not spending, it doesn't matter what you're doing.
Our savings rate, I think the personal savings rate was up to 5%, I believe,
in the
last month. I mean, which is a good thing, but at the same time,
it's a good thing for the long term, it's bad for the short term.
Bad for the short term.
But I do think that one thing to keep in mind is the employment numbers are a lagging indicator. It's a symptom. It's not a cause of future economic growth. The leading indicators, I've heard nobody talking about this, the last 2 months in a row have turned up. So
it is encouraging.
I think the fourth quarter GDP was so bad. I think that we probably see some improvement from there. That doesn't mean we're going to come out of recession. It just means we're not going to be declining at 6%.
Yeah, we still have too much. We still have too much housing inventory nationally. We have too much banking industry. Still hasn't shaken out. You've got until you have banks writing the at least turning around the other direction, it's tough to make that call. I think. I mean, there are some indicators. There's a lot of crossing indicators.
Yeah, I'm just saying that to look at the lagging indicators is probably not the thing to do in terms for looking for a recovery.
Right. And I think the one thing to keep in mind is with this big stimulus package that's going through, whether you agree with it, disagree with it, it's going to provide a short-term pop.
Well, and I
think that's going to be dangerous, though. I think it's going to give a lot of people perhaps a little bit of false hope.
Well, then again, I think one of the worst things you could do right now is be in cash, because if you expect this massive influx of government spending to make any kind of inflation at all, your 1/10 of 1% that the bank's paying you right now in your CDs or whatever is going to be a horrible long-term return. You're going to lose a lot of money to inflation, and if their inflationary efforts do work, you're going to see assets turn around.
I think that money will come in. It's a question of when. I mean, is it now, 6 months, 9 months? It still hasn't come in, and gold's telling us that. I mean, gold, again, down $100. I'll wait for the show me signs.
Unfortunately, we got to wrap it up on that topic. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the show with Fantasy Finance, so stay tuned. You're watching The Trading Desk on COTV Channel 11.